Honk if you love credits should have been the tagline of the Brewer Corporation Planetary Survey Initiative in Elite Dangerous. I joined up to scan star systems, turn in data and rack up some serious in-game cash. But I didn't go all in. How come? Hello and welcome. I am Rob Farker, a lover of sleek futures and cool machines who is taking his passion and perspective to YouTube to talk about life, the universe and everything, and how to do all of the above with a little bit more intent. A quick note at the top of this episode. Please give this episode a like if you enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and please absolutely type out a polite, enthusiastic and constructive comment in the comments section down below. Doing so not only lets YouTube know that this channel is worth promoting, putting on people's home screens and what to watch next selections, but also that you are out there enjoying what I'm doing and are finding some meaning in it, I hope. Frontier Developments announced the Brewer Corporation Planetary Survey Initiative at the end of January. It ran from the 30th of January to the 13th of February 2015, or 3311 in the in-game universe of Elite Dangerous. At least that was the original time frame for it. Players were tasked with visiting star systems, scanning them, looking for specific planet types, doing surface scans with a specific type of scanner, and then delivering the data collected to the megaship Trailblazer Echo in the, let me make sure I get this right, HIP 90578 star system in the Milky Way galaxy. The goal was to collect 1 million contributions, and to quote the text of the challenge, contributions will be valued by thoroughness, with full FSS, which stands for full spectrum scan, scans and planetary probing completions rewarded higher. Rewards included an upgraded and engineered surface scanner. Engineering is something that I'm yet to fully experience in the Elite Dangerous universe, so don't worry if that throws you as to what it means. And a tiered credit payout. The more contributions that a particular commander made compared to the rest of the community, the higher the big credit payout reward was. Then came the twist. On February the 11th, the data drop-off point, the megaship Trailblazer Echo, became locked down. This is a particular condition that can be applied to a star system's bases and outposts if it becomes unsecure. And in this case, the reason for the HIP, I keep looking at it, the HIP 90578 system was locked down was because some players, who you could probably call griefers, went about attacking the non-player character controlled system security vessels. Therefore, the system was deemed unsafe and no data could be dropped off at the Universal Cartographics Office on board the Trailblazer Echo until the system status was changed. Frontier made an announcement to this effect, and that advised what needed to be done was for players to attack non-player character pirate factions that had come into the system because there were fewer security vessels about and the overall security level of the system had dropped. Doing so would remove the lockdown and allow drop-off of data. This was a bit of a tricky proposition, because the people who wanted to drop off the data, if they went into combat and their ships were destroyed, all the data that they had collected would be lost. While they could get a new ship by paying an insurance payout, or go back to a default Sidewinder if they couldn't afford to or didn't want to pay out, or even switch to one of their other ships if they'd already purchased one, that ship itself and all the data carried on board with it, completely gone, irretrievable. Not even the people who blew up the ship could get their hands on it. So I looked at what I've been doing so far. The contribution level I'd made to that point pretty much guaranteed that one way or another I would be getting a hefty credit payout. And when I spoke to my friends in the Elite Dangerous Australia group, they were of the opinion that it was unlikely that the lockout would get lifted before deadline, and also the odds of Frontier extending the deadline were about as unlikely. So one of them had a fleet carrier, a massive ship that you can dock your smaller individually piloted ships at, in the system, and was heading back to the EDA core star systems, and I caught a lift back. A day later, Frontier announced that they were extending the deadline. And, well, let's face it, I was tempted to go out, do some more scanning, make my way all the way back to the HIP. Let me double check this again and make sure I'm getting it right. The HIP 90578 system, and start dropping off. And then I didn't. As of this morning, 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Wednesday, February the 19th, the community challenge ended with 91% completion, over 9 million contributions of the target of 10 million. And yeah, I haven't been back to the Trailblazer Echo since the lockdown was in place. Why not? For a start, I've been talking for a while about playing this game with intent. And after racking up the contributions that I did and doing the system scans that I had made to date, I found myself thinking, I am not sure I enjoy this activity, not as a concentrated thing. As tempting as it was to try and make sure that my position was secure and that I would remain in the top 50 of contributors without potentially dropping down to the top 75 and going from funnily enough, a 75 million credit payout to a 50 million credit payout, I didn't really enjoy the experience enough to want to keep doing it and secure that rank. There is just something about scanning star systems and then scanning individual planets that it's okay every now and again, but as a concentrated effort, I find it gets pretty dull rather quick. The core experience that I do enjoy is flying my ship, which you do if you are doing a star system survey. But I like dropping off cargo, even if it's delivering to a system and making a personal courier delivery to a person on a settlement. I like how the occasional bit of combat spices things up every now and again on those interstellar journeys. And really there wasn't too much of it when I was doing the planetary scans. So it seemed like when players talk about a grind, it means doing things that you don't really enjoy repetitively for a greater reward down the track, whether it's more in-game cash or some sort of item that you're able to unlock. And I thought that this was one grind that I could do without doing, even if it meant I got a little bit less cash. I still learned a lot from doing the challenge. One of the cool things I think I learned is, I mentioned at the top of this episode that honk if you love credits should have been this community goals tagline. That is because, and I'll have to get myself some in-game footage of this, the process of using a D-scanner, which sends out a pulse that allows you to then do a full system survey. I keep thinking it's either full system scan or full system survey. Either way, that particular thing involves a big bass foghorn note.
Fuel scooping complete. System scan complete.
Which people have come to call honking. Making I tend to call it a ship fart, but yeah, no, apparently that's not going to catch on anytime soon. But yeah, it's this big loud noise that signifies the massive pulse that your ship is sending out so that it can get a return of what is in the system, from planetary bodies to signals being sent out by ships or other events in system. I also did learn how to use a detailed surface scanner, which is what you use to collect information on a specific stellar body. I mean, a planetary body, let's face it. You can't do a surface scan of a sun or, another actual stellar body. I also learned how to actually use the plotting system within the galaxy map to plot jumps. It felt like when I was plotting interstellar jumps, the game kept plotting the shortest distances for me. And it took asking the crew how, if I've got a 20 light year jump range on my Cobra Mark 5, how come the game is always selecting these shorter jumps instead of ones closer to its maximum? And then they explained what I do is go into the route planner option within the galaxy map and make sure I've got it set for max jump, and then tell it to recalculate the route if I need to. So yes, I found that, well, I was told to find that at the bottom of the options on the left hand side, so that wound up working. Then there was earnings versus activity. Like I said, at the actually before I recorded this, I checked my results. I tell you what, here are the in-game credit rewards and the breakdown of contributions required to get to each tier. I made 218 contributions, and despite this spike in deliveries after, as you can see, the lockdown was lifted, I made that decision to not go back and try and do more system scans and do more turn-ins, even if it meant that I potentially dropped in tier based on a whole bunch of people making contributions to the game. And in the end, the contributions weren't enough to reduce my tier. So I still came out with 75 million credit reward for doing this game, which quite frankly is nothing to be sniffed at. I mean, I remember when I did the Christmas challenge, which I'm not sure if I mentioned in a prior video. There was a community challenge at the end of the year where we were to work out clues given to us by letters to Sandra Cause and her, I can't remember the name of the workshop, but it was very Christmas themed. And the more deliveries we made, the more of a reward that we got at the end. And I wound up getting 40 million credits out of that, which was fantastic. It allowed me to do a bunch of things and buy a few more ships. So, 75 million credits is fantastic. It's going to... actually, I'll talk about the future a little bit later. But I think the overall point is, like I said a bit earlier on, I'm pretty sure that doing planetary surveys is something that I will just do on the occasion. I might submit to the grind if another community challenge comes out like this. But even so, I think I won't go all out for the top tier. I will just see what I can earn, balancing it with doing other things. And but it's still good to have a little bit of variety every now and again. So what does that mean for me playing Elite Dangerous with intent? Well, I've learned that if I'm not enjoying a concentrated effort, it's a sign that I should shift focus. The next thing I'm going to do, now that I've got this reward, I'm not sure if it's actually come through to my in-game balance yet, but it probably will in short order, is to get myself a Type 8 transporter. I did do a video on the one I bought before I did the reset, but after I did the reset, of course, the Bakersfield, was wiped. I think I'm going to call it the Lucky Henry, though, this time. Get that back, start working on some upgrades, and start doing some more big-time trading and heavy cargo runs, because I do enjoy them. I might also see about getting perhaps a Dolphin, a low-grade passenger carrier. I don't know what it is about the Kamakiri, my Cobra Mark 5 Stellar pre-built ship, but I'm a little bit precious with it. I like leaving it in its current configuration. I don't know why. And for some odd reason, I'm even a little bit leery about the idea of getting another Cobra Mark 5. Call me odd. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some engineering on it instead. Because at least that way I'm just improving the components that are already there rather than buying new ones. We will see. But I think those are the next things that I'm going to explore in Elite Dangerous. Engineering and also the power play mechanic, which I think from what I've heard and in light of how I've been doing a bit of intro to Elite Dangerous gameplay, I think that power play can give new players the direction that perhaps they might be looking for. Kurtanda, if you're watching this, I do note that you did mention in your comment one of my earlier videos that sense of you feel like it could use a bit more of a story and some immediate objectives, I think power play might just be what you're looking for, and even engineering might be as well. Anyway, did you folks take part in the Brewer Corporation Planetary Survey Initiative community goal? How did you go? What was your experience with prior community challenges? And what did you find that you learned from them? Anyway, until the next video, have a good time in the meantime. This is Commander Rob Farker. I still think that if I'm doing an 07, it ought to be with the left, because there's the O, there's the 7. This is Commander Rob Farker, signing off.